Alright, so what I was going to be doing today is I'm just testing words today. So the last few days I've tested almost 5,000 words for anyone who's been paying any attention to the list. I've been, if you go to the test in progress tab over on the list, it'll tell you what I've been working on. So normally I don't usually go over like the entire list again, because it's just so huge and it takes so much time to test everything. But right now I'm going over all of the green words, which there's over 16,000 green words right now. But I've done almost 5,000 the last couple days, so it's going pretty well. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of my process of what I do. So this is just sort of a side account I have that's monetized, and I usually test about 600 words at a time right now. So I've got over 1,100 videos that I currently work on. There is actually a limit. You can upload up to 99 videos per day, or like per 24 hours. So once you've uploaded the 99th video, then you've got to take a break and you can't upload again till like 24 hours later. So I'm just going to get started right now. I'll show you guys how this works. Feel free to type in the chat. I'll be reading the chat as I go along too. So first thing I do is just open up all 30 videos from the page. So I just scroll down. Somehow they are equally spaced in just the right way that I don't really have to move the mouse. Just scroll and middle click. So now I've got 30 tabs open over here. I probably could use some more RAM on my computer for this, because it does tend to get a little slow sometimes. So anyway, control tab, just go to the next tab. Then I just control C, the next word on the list, change it to the title, and the next tab. Copy, paste, and just go down the list. I don't even pay any attention to the words that I'm working on at the time. I just type them in. So, whenever I do tests, I rarely ever test words that are green and yellow at the same time in the same batch. Usually I'll only test greens or only test yellows. I'll explain it soon. So now that I've changed them all, then I've got to hit the Save Changes button. So then I'll just hit Save, Tab, go through all of them. Then I saved them all, and then I just close all of these tabs. So yeah, and then that's I just changed the title for 30 videos right there. So then I go to the next page. So with 30 videos per page, I tend to I go through 20 pages, which counts as 600 words. And after I've gone through and changed the title of 600 videos, then I go back to page 1 and I just read the results. I look through all of the ones that are green, and then sometimes I'll come across ones that show up yellow. Do you work on the list and add new words there? Yeah, I do tend to add words. Usually I don't often add words myself, or like just come up with things to add, but I have an email that's listed on here, ytwordlist@gmail.com, so that anytime, for any people that notice words missing from the list or they want stuff added, then they can just email me lists of words and I can just go ahead and add those. But yeah, so now we're on page 2, so open all the videos. So it's kind of a different process when testing new words and like retesting words, because when you're testing new words, like you have no idea if it's going to end up being green or yellow. So like sometimes it's even best to, if you're testing new words, to just upload it as a new video. But usually I'll test words over ones that are already green, and then if they stay green, then I can just confirm that they're fine, or if they go yellow, then I can, I'll mark them as yellow. But when I'm retesting, the reason I do like only greens at one time or only yellows at a time is so when I'm testing the greens, I want to make sure that all of them stay green or were green before I tested it. So then if I put it, so then if I'm putting greens over all of these greens, then you know, most of them will stay green, and then the very few will pop up yellow if they are demonetized words. And then if I'm testing yellows, then I will go through and demonetize all of these videos beforehand. I'll just name them all like Dick or something, get them all demonetized, and then I will put yellow over the top of all of those. And then if they happen to turn green, then I'll know that they're fine. But if you, whenever I try and do like yellows and greens at the same time, or like in the same batch, then I tend to get less accurate results, because sometimes videos don't really update, and that's a real problem when I'm trying to get accurate results. I mean, it still is when I do it this way, but it's not as big of a deal. Like, let's say I put a word I thought was green over a green video, and it stayed green, but it should have gone yellow. It's like, okay, so I just got an inaccurate result, but it's not such a bad thing because it already said it was green beforehand, and it still says it's green, so I hope that makes sense. So it's like, it's not a perfectly accurate result, but it wasn't before either, so it's not like things got any worse. But yeah, welcome to the live stream, everybody. I've never live streamed before, but I just felt like showing what I've been doing, because I've been just testing like crazy. So like when I say I do 600 words in each batch, I can usually do those 600 words in about an hour overall. I try to minimize downtime. Like, so the main downtime that you run into is waiting for videos to update. So every time, whenever you change the title of something, it can take anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes for it to update. And so like they're all green beforehand, and then you change all the titles. If you go back and they're all still green, you're just like, okay, I don't know if they're all green because these are all just still green words, or if it just hasn't updated yet. So it's kind of hard to ever be sure. So sometimes you want to just like wait a little while, give it some time to refresh, and then go back and take a look. But I mean, when I'm working on 20 pages at a time, then usually by the time I'm done with the 20th page, like the first 10 to 15 pages have already updated. So I just have to wait for the final pages to update. Alright, so now I'm going on to page 4. So just out of curiosity, out of all the people watching, how many of you guys are like actual YouTubers that deal with monetization and getting demonetized and that kind of thing? Because I mean, that's the main, like the target audience here. I was trying to reach out to all the other YouTubers who have issues getting demonetized all the time. I know that there's a lot of people who don't make videos that are just interested regardless. I mean, that's kind of how I was. Can I click on that one? Okay, yeah. But yeah, so like, believe it or not, I only started YouTube in like 2018. I've been watching YouTube pretty much religiously for years, and I'd seen so many YouTubers talking about how much they hate dealing with getting demonetized, and like, you know, all the adpocalypses and stuff, and I'm like, man, I hope I never get into YouTube because that just looks like a nightmare. But then in so 2019 was when the first time I was monetized, and I was doing these daily uploads of like reading Reddit stories. And after about 2 months of it, I was so sick of getting demonetized. So like, I think it was like less than 2 months later, that's when I'm like, all right, screw this. I'm starting a giant word list. I'm gonna figure out every word that gets you demonetized. All the, you know, the millions of YouTubers working for years before I ever came along, nobody thought to start this. and then I just get fed up with it within 2 months. I don't know, it's been kind of fun. I like data entry stuff. Alright, looking at the chat. No YouTubers. Yeah, sounds good. Everybody's just here interested in the whole monetization process. But yeah, so that I have live streamed on other channels before. This is just the first one I've done on this channel. I actually have like 6 or 7 YouTube channels. So YouTube Analyzed is actually, it's pretty close to being my biggest one right now, because my old biggest one I've stopped posting, and I announced that I was done, and so a lot of people have unsubscribed. So I've lost like 600 subscribers there. But I'm just like, I'm not uploading there anymore, so I don't really care. It is pretty nice. It's pretty cool to be able to talk with other YouTubers though, because you know, I mean, when you watch a lot of YouTube, you get the impression that all these people you're watching are like from the same place. And since you're spending so much time watching all of them, they probably spend a lot of time together too. But as an actual like full-time YouTuber, you're very antisocial. You spend most of your time just alone, doing your own thing. And yeah, so it's kind of hard to even find other YouTubers to talk about YouTube stuff. How do I close tabs so fast? So there's 2 good ways to close tabs. I actually just started doing this new method like today. But like, so if you middle click on a tab, that will close it. And also pressing Control W will close it. So I'm just like doing both of those at the same time to close all 30 tabs. But yeah, it's not too bad of a thing. I know a lot of people say that I should automate this process. My friend CeeLo, he's automated a lot of this stuff before, but I feel like the results don't stay like super accurate when you automate it. And also, I've gotten so fast at this that automation wouldn't really speed it up so much, I feel like. I mean, when I can do 600 words in an hour, you know, you give me an 8-hour regular day and I can take on almost 5,000 words. So, I don't know, like I keep finding methods of making it go faster and faster, so I'm not too worried. Like, I usually don't spend that much time working on this. And even when I do, I'm always like watching YouTube or watching movies or listening to music at the time. False. So a funny thing about this is like, on the list right here, it says false with a comma, because if you take the comma, without the comma, it's like a command, because it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it's just a weird thing. So I just put the comma there so that it's normal, you know. Oh, and that is all of them. So then I just Control Tab and click Save on all of them. You can see all these 1-second videos I have, and then I close all those tabs. And then go to the next page. Yeah, I hope you guys like all my keyboard music, and I'm just like typing. Yeah, I always was looking for data entry jobs, and instead I just ended up creating my own data entry job. Oh yeah, I'm sure that there are ways to like fix the spreadsheet thing so that it doesn't have the false thing pop up, but it's not that big of a deal to me. Same with like the numbers at the top of the list. Since it's all in alphabetical order, the first like, I don't know, 50 or so terms are just numbers. And for some reason, it defaults to orient them to the right of the cell rather than the left. So you gotta, every time you put a number in, you gotta manually change that, or else it just looks weird. Man, just look at all these terms that show up green. I mean, I've talked about this before, but like YouTube doesn't understand, like this bot doesn't recognize words if they're compound words and they are like all, you know, if there's no space in it, it doesn't recognize the word. It just sees it as some unknown term. Alright, now close all the tabs. Oh, and sometimes it's a nice thing that it gives you an error message if it didn't save. Okay, page 8. So yeah, you can kind of see that I fly through these when I'm really trying to work on it. I'm a little bit faster when I'm not live streaming and talking while doing it, but it's not slowing me down as much as I would have thought. Something kind of interesting I've noticed with this channel is, so I've got that word list video that like blew up. It's at like almost 1.5 million views. And sometimes I'll upload other videos just about other things. And like the new videos I upload, they only get like a couple thousand views. Like they don't go very far. But every time I upload a new video, it causes, it seems to make my viral video go viral again. Which is, it sounds really funny, but like I'll upload a new video, it doesn't even matter how good it is, nobody even has to watch it, it just makes my main video go big again. So maybe I'll just get an entire career built off that one video. Okay. We're in the 5,000s now. I'll probably just live stream till I get to the end of this batch and then record all the results. Currently there are only 2 people with access to the word list. It's me and CeeLo. Something I've been having issues with though, maybe you guys can help me out with this. So when it comes to this word list, I can come up here, there's this option to say publish to the web. I'm wondering what that does, if I should do that, or if that will mess things up. But sometimes I have connection issues with this, and I'm wondering if that's just because there's too many people connected to, I guess it's considered like a private document. So, I don't know. Yeah, sorry I don't have a really great mic. I'm just going off of a webcam right now. I do have like external mics, and when I record videos I use a much different thing. But as for this, I didn't want to get out like a huge setup just to go over all this. Kind of gets in the way. Oh, dang it. Elliot was the last one. Which one? Yeah, I'm pretty glad that the list has taken off. I can always tell when when the main video's gone viral because I get a lot more people viewing the list. So, on a normal day, it's usually between like 20 and 30 or 40 maybe at the most. But sometimes I'll just log in one day and there's like 90 to 100 people looking at the list. And I'm like, well, something must have spread around. I start getting a bunch of emails of people requesting access to the list. I've gotten so many of those. I get so many people that ask to have access to the list, but I just ignore them all. I like to keep it under control. Alright, let's fly through these. get a little messed up sometimes. So out of all the people watching also, did you find the lists, like the list video from just it being recommended, or was it from Nerd City? So like for those of you who don't know, Nerd City is this pretty massive channel that me and CeeLo had. Nerd City, basically he was our publisher, because when we uploaded this list, I mean I had very little following, CeeLo didn't have much of a following either, but Nerd City of course has a huge following, so we're just like, hey, do you want to work on a big video to spread the word about this list, because a lot of people are going to want to know about it. And so when we all released everything all at once, the video only got like, it only got maybe like 30,000 views at the time. And then like a couple months later, my video on its own somehow just started going viral or something, and it just went over 1 million out of nowhere. Alright, so we got some recommendations from Nerd City. Yeah, I still talk to him decently enough. Like, he disappears sometimes. He's not always around. I mean, he only uploads like once every couple months. But he's a cool guy. Hopefully the audio isn't just garbage through this microphone. Did I typo? Oh, yeah, I did. Feels, fees, feet, feist, felch, felcher, felching. I don't even know what half these words are. Felix Schellberg. Where is PewDiePie? Alright, that's the... Alright, we've now gotten through 300 words. Recommended. Huh. Project Veritas comments? Huh. I didn't even know I was spreading around through that. I guess there was like... Wasn't there a Project Veritas thing where they were exposing big tech or something? And yeah, I guess I could see some people mentioning that YouTube was kind of corrupt and that we're trying to like uncover the YouTube secrets. I don't know, it's really weird that YouTube is so secretive about what is monetizable. I mean, I guess they probably don't like me very much because I'm exposing a lot of little holes in the system. Like if you look at my list of green words here, there's a lot of like swear words and a lot of bad terms throughout the list that it slips through the cracks because their system is terrible. So I could help you get monetized even with a bunch of bad words. You're a Jake Paul fan, but you still like my channel? I mean, okay, you can like more than one channel, it's fine. YouTube is a pretty big place. I spend way too much time on YouTube. Since I'm self-employed and I work from home, pretty much everything I do, I always have YouTube playing on the side. But YouTube is never the only thing I'm doing. I'm always either working or playing games or eating or doing chores. I just always have YouTube playing something on in the background. Whether that's podcasts or commentary, I don't know. I feel like YouTube is kind of in a stale spot right now, where I don't have very much good stuff to watch. Recommend a resource for learning how to make Reddit videos. How to make Reddit videos. There isn't really a correct way of doing it. I feel like I've explained my process in one of my videos, because I'm sure you're asking because you've seen Imagine If the Internet Was Real, because that was my Reddit channel that I ran for like all of 2019. Basically, there's a couple ways I could really suggest doing it. I did it differently than I think a lot of people do, which is a lot of people will record themselves and they'll record the screen and just record they'll just record themselves reacting to the content, like in real time. Whereas what I did is I would go onto Reddit, find the good stuff, screen cap it onto my computer, and then use a DSLR, like a nicer camera, to just record myself reading and reacting to that stuff. So mine was like less just streaming myself, and it was a little more put together, I guess. But if you're watching like Will NE or PewDiePie, like their kind of Reddit stuff, they're just recording themselves reacting in real time, I think. My problem with that is that my DSLR, or my nice camera that I actually use to make videos, is this thing. So this thing's really nice. It's got great video and audio quality, but I can't get it to connect to my computer or plug it in or get it to go with OBS, which is what I'm using to stream right now. Otherwise, I would be using this on the stream, but I can't get it to go with my computer, unfortunately. Fighting, figure out, figured, figures, Fiji. This is kind of a weird muscle memory. Like, I'm always good when you give me like a software to work on, give me some computer task I've got to do a lot. Like, I'll get really fast at it. Alright, we're 12 pages down. Let's see more comments. Do commentary only bits. You can't switch. Starting with voice commentary instead. I mean, just pick whatever content seems like it would be enjoyable. As far as switching content, like, I've been really wanting to switch content, but I'm just going to start a new channel when I do. The Imagine If the Internet Was Real channel, I'm probably not going to really do much of anything with that again, because you get so locked into one style, and then the way that YouTube recommends videos, it's really hard to transition to other things, because, like, let's say you upload a certain type of video like regularly for a long time. You have a lot of people who watch that type of content. Well, then you decide to upload something different, and then it'll get recommended to your regular viewers, but your regular viewers will be like, oh, what is this? This is different than what I usually watch, so I won't watch this. And so then YouTube sees that, and they say, okay, your regular viewers aren't watching this, so we're not going to recommend it to anybody else. So whenever you upload a video, it has to get past your regular audience first, and then once it's gotten past that, then it'll recommend it to other people. But if you suddenly shift and upload something completely different than your usual stuff, then it's not going to get past your initial audience. So it's not going to get past that to the correct audience that you're looking for. That's why changing content types is really difficult. And it's usually just better to start a completely new channel, which is what I plan to do. Because then you can just like get out of that spot that you're stuck in and just start fresh in another spot. And it doesn't hurt to like tell your past audience like, hey, I'm starting over if you're still interested in following me. So I'll probably do all that stuff. This is the ads control the algorithm, and everyone thinks the algorithm is controlled by the channel owner. Better to start over through the dead subs. Yeah, can you monetize videos that do not contain your face? Yeah, you can. You don't have to show your face or anything. In fact, if you can, there are ways, like, as long as you're not using copyrighted content, like if you just make compilation videos or like, you know, there's plenty of them out there. You'll have to look at a lot of guides on how to avoid getting copyright striked. You know, maybe like flip the video around, like mirror it, or like shrink it with a moving background or something, change the colors, change the sound, stuff like that people use to avoid getting copyright striked. I mean, I'm not going to recommend just like go pulling a bunch of reused content and all that stuff, but some people make a lot of money doing it. As shady as it may sound. Alright, let's just blast through another page of this. By the way, if any of you are wondering, you can look through the test in progress and see all of the new yellows I found this week. There's some pretty weird ones. For example, Corona is now coming up yellow. I guess they don't want people talking about the coronavirus. I mean, it really goes two ways, because like there are some channels that talk about the coronavirus and like warning people, you know, giving useful information, like reporting about how the coronavirus is going. But then there are other channels that are just like clickbaiting and trying to build up hype and capitalize off of the trend and doing like really shady videos. So, I mean, one type of video ruins it for everybody else, I guess. Average view duration or percentage watched? You know, nobody ever gives you a straight answer for that question. I've wondered that a lot too. In my opinion, I'd say average view duration is probably better rather than percentage watched. I mean, both are kind of important in their own ways, but I mean, if you're going to make longer videos, then you're going to want, like let's say, is it better to have like a 10-minute video that people only watched like 2 minutes of, or upload a 2-minute video that people only watched 1 minute of? So like a 10-minute video that people watch 2 minutes of, like that's only 20%, but it's 2 minutes. Whereas a 2-minute video where everyone only watched 1 minute, that's 50%, but it's only 1 minute. So it's a higher percentage but lower view duration. So in that case, I would probably say, I mean, short videos do get recommended more sometimes. So I don't know. Both of those, like if you're only getting 2 minutes on a 10-minute video, that's probably not very good. Like I used to upload a lot of like 15 to 20-minute videos daily, and my average view duration was over 10 minutes pretty much regularly. Okay. Let's get through this. YouTube's not monetizing text-to-speech Reddit channels. I'm pretty sure they still are. Yeah, there's a lot of text-to-speech Reddit channels that are just complete garbage. I can't believe how successful they're getting. Especially like in the past year, you see so many of these stupid videos that get like over 1 million views off of just text-to-speech garbage. I can't stand them, honestly. But it's not very hard to get monetized on most things. I mean, those channels, the only reason they would make them is if they would be making money off of them. That's literally the only reason to be doing that. So I can't imagine they're not making money off of that. They've got to be. Also, if anyone's wondering how I made all these 1 to 2 second videos, just open OBS. OBS is a really good like video recording software on your computer. You can use it to like record what's on your screen. I'm using it right now to record what's on my screen and stream. You can use what's on a webcam or whatever you've got. It's really good for just like capturing things. So what I would do, like you can see this is just like this is a 2-second video. And it's just on like a view of my desk. It's a glass desk, so you're just looking at the floor under my desk. So I would just go into OBS, click start recording, stop recording, start recording, stop recording, start recording, stop recording, and just do that 99 times. Since you can only upload 99 videos per day, that's the limit. Very few YouTube channels will ever run into that issue, but with this one, yeah, that's an issue that you can only upload 99 videos per day. So I uploaded 297 new videos this week because sometimes I have to delete videos off the list. It's kind of annoying, but like wow, I can't believe that's monetized. Sometimes I'll test words, and then sometimes it'll come up yellow, and so then I'll record that it came yellow, and then I'll just change it to some random number to make it go green. And but sometimes they'll just stay yellow no matter what you change them to, so then I'll just have to delete the video. So yeah, I delete a bunch of videos from here and there just because they refuse to change. And then other times, like some of you probably noticed on the word list, when it gets to the point where it says ISIS, it says will lock your video yellow, do not use. The thing is, so when I test yellow words, I'll like to set all of the videos to be demonetized first, like before I even get started. And so one day I just decided to change all the titles to ISIS to make them all get demonetized, and then just test them off of that. The problem is, I came back a little later, and almost all of the videos that were called ISIS, it said demonetized, confirmed by manual review. And I was like, I didn't even request review. And it just confirmed them all. So like once it's confirmed yellow, there's nothing you can do about it. It's gonna stay yellow. So those ones you absolutely have to just delete and just work on other stuff. Okay, done with all those. So we're almost done with the long part. Pretty soon we'll get to the fun part, and that's going through and looking at all the results. Now that I think about it, there's probably no title to this stream. I'm so bad at live streaming. There's so many options and things you've got to look at and change, but I feel like all of that stuff I'm not even paying attention to. I just open up the live streaming and then just go live, and then I don't even think about it anymore. But we're only like 5 pages away from the end of this batch. So luckily I have 3 or 4 channels that are monetized right now. Flamer. And so like this was just an old channel that I basically deleted all the other videos that I had on it, but the channel is still monetized. It's still got like 1,900 subscribers, even though there's no public videos. And I just use this as my test account. I wouldn't want to do this on like a main account because it spams up your video log. I mean, I've got like 40 pages of just 2-second videos, and so if I wanted to get past those 40 pages to look at my actual videos, oh dang it, Control G. It's a good thing I know a lot of hotkeys for when I make mistakes, like accidentally closing the video page. Okay, how many pages do we have left? I think 5. Okay, I already did this page. To the next page. We're just trying to make up words to see how it reacts to them. Well, I mean, the way the bot works is that every word is technically fine unless specified otherwise. So if you're making up words that it's never seen before, then of course it's going to show up green. But that also just means that like you're going to have a lot of strange words that do get marked yellow. But that's why you have you'll have a whole bunch of these, like right here. You see all these these explicit terms that are still green. It's because they're very specific, and the bot just has never seen it before. It's seen this word without the ed at the end, and so just these 8 letters is demonetized. But when you add extra letters, it becomes an entirely different word, and then the bot has to like figure it out again. So that's why there's so many different variations of swear words that the bot just has never seen before. So it just it doesn't know that it's a bad word yet. And so if you're ever really struggling to get a video monetized because of a word that's in the title, just misspell it. Or just erase all the spaces in your title. Just do your whole title with no spaces. And my computer freezes sometimes because I'm maxing out the RAM, having, you know, over 30 tabs open. But yeah, we're getting through it. We only have a few more pages to test, and then we get to go through and record the results. There is a waiting period once I get through all these too, so where I can't be doing anything really. I just have to wait for these last pages to finish updating. And when I get to that point, I'll read a lot more of the chat and the questions, so that'll come up soon. So if I'm not responding quite as much right now, I just want to get through this quick. Everything is just copying and pasting. Open 30 tabs at a time. Change them all. Save them all. Close them all. And to the next page. Alright, 3 more pages. So I'm on 5311. Once we get to 5400, that'll be the end of this batch. And then I will have done 1800 words today. Like with all these new methods I'm coming up with, it is making it a lot faster. I feel like to do 600 words in an hour, I mean it's probably, oh yeah, it's only been 42 minutes since I started the stream, so it'll be definitely under an hour. But then I've also got to like record it all and wait for updating and all that stuff. And then I make mistakes like this and I lose my spot. Thing is, when I don't lose my spot, I can just fly through these. Faux show. Faux shizzle my nizzle. What would we do without that term? Focus. Focus. Focusing. Alright. Close all the tabs. Alright, we're almost there. Just 2 more pages. Are you worried that my auto-monetize or demonetize? I have wondered if they are going to demonetize this channel actually, because to get into the partner program you need 1,000 subscribers, but you also need 4,000 hours watch time in the past year. And I was told that like you need to maintain that too. So like if you go like far under 1,000 subscribers, or if you, like let's say you stop getting any watch time and you're not getting 4,000 hours watch time per year, then you'll lose partner status. But it's been almost a year since I deleted all my videos, so I've gotten literally no watch time in the past year, and I'm still in the partner program for some reason on this channel. If I did happen to lose partner status, I might try and reach out to YouTube and have them just reinstate it, because we actually have had talks with YouTube. Ever since we released the video, we had like a conference call just explaining to them like what we've been doing with all this stuff, and they thought it was really interesting. So it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to come out and just give me a favor and make sure this channel doesn't get like removed from the partner program. It's not like I'm making any money. I mean, I've got 1,200 monetized videos, but they're all unlisted. They're all private. So yeah, it's not like I'm doing anything wrong with this. Even if we leave spaces between letter numbers. Alright, one more page and then I'll get to chat. So if you have a lot of questions, now would be a good time to leave them. Because once I finish this, then I'll have to wait a little bit before I can record the results. Because these, so I'm on page 20 right now. Page 1 through like 10 is probably far, like, long done, since they've all updated by now. But going through and recording the results goes too fast, and then I would just get to page 20 before they updated. So I usually like to just take my time. Okay, we're almost there. This has been a pretty easy 600 to get through. Alright. Sometimes my hand cramps up. Alright, close all these. Alrighty, that is 600 words. Now we go back to page 1. What are I doing? I am testing the monetization status of all the words. Now I'm just going to make a marker to show that this is where I stopped. 5400. That's the last. Formula was the last word of this batch. And now I'm back on page 1, looking at the first words that I was testing. Looks like none of these are showing up yellow. The thing is, I'm going through every single green word on the list, and so a lot of these haven't been tested in a long time. Explicit is yellow. So let's go back to 4800. So then I just go through and explicit, and I change that to yellow. And now that I've marked that, then I just change this to some numbers. And then save it. So then this will go back to green and it's ready for testing next time I come through here. So explicit is our first yellow that we've come across. Okay. Yeah, I hope that a lot of YouTubers are finding use for this list, because I mean I've put in like a few hundred hours just like getting everything to this point. I don't really add that many words. Like, I'll add words when people email them to me, but it's kind of hard when you're just looking at, you know, 17,000 words and you're like, oh, I just thought of another word. Can you try all 297 country names? Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to look through the list and see whatever countries that I'm missing, I'd be happy to add them all. That, like, probably the most time-consuming thing is just looking through the list and determining what to test next. That's why I leave it up to people to email me lists of words, because I'm never going to add every word myself. Hey, I'm glad it's all helped out. If I died, what would my last words be? Probably GG. Yellow, explicit. Explicit is an explicit term, so don't use that word in your titles. Now, like, I'll kind of like take my time going through them because I'm still waiting for the later pages to update. Okay, is there anything next? Alright, nothing on this page. Everything's still green. But yeah, that's the thing, when you're retesting greens, you're like, alright, this word should be green, so let's put it over a green video. If it stays green, then great, it's probably just still green. If it goes yellow, then you absolutely know that it went yellow. That's the thing. Because just because a word is green doesn't always mean that you can put it on a yellow video and it'll make it go green. Sometimes you'll put a video on a green video and it'll stay green, and then you put that same word on a yellow video and it will stay yellow. And that's what makes testing a lot of fun, because you're just getting completely messed up results. Extraction. So that's why I always just test a word on on top of whatever status it was before. Extraction is yellow, so I change that. And then once I've gone through and marked all these yellow, then I will open up another tab of the word list and then go and change it on these other tabs too. Looks like there's not a whole lot. Easy. So extraction and es, or easy, are the two yellows on this. So es is also yellow. Okay, so then I just change the number, change it to numbers, change it to numbers, and then I just keep moving on. Yeah, see, like really strange terms like this just show up yellow. I don't really know what to think of this, and a lot of people are probably coming at me and being like, what? Why would you think that this word is yellow? Like, why would you put that as demonetized on the list? And I'm like, this is what came up in my test results, so take it or leave it. Facial. Facial is demonetized. You know, doing all this stuff, it makes me want to work for like a dictionary company or something. Because like, you just get to play with words and just... you get to learn all these different weird terms that you'd never heard of, and... Keemstar's video got demonetized because he said e-girl. YouTube subtitle picked it up as the N-word. Yeah, that's actually an issue, because like, so whenever you have videos on YouTube, it has like a caption bot. It will like try and recognize what you're saying, and it will, you know, it'll automatically caption the videos, and it'll have like a transcript. And I've heard from people on even like the Mr. Beast team that sometimes it will recognize, it will think they said something different than what they actually said. Like one time they said shish kebab, but it heard something else, you know. It, like the captions picked it up, and because of that miscaption, their ad rates were much lower, and it just, like, that tiny little error cost them a ton of money. So it's kind of a big issue. I mean, e-girl is kind of a big difference from the N-word. E-girl. Okay, I guess I could see it messing that up, but can I get a shout out? Alfie J has to leave the chatterbox. Alright, you get the shout out in front of the 26 people here who probably already saw your comment anyway. Extraction is a form of dental work and medical stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna rewind on my music here. Alright, we're just slowly going through all this stuff. I mean, when I show people demonetized words that are just very, you know, reasonable words that get demonetized, a lot of people try and justify it and say, well, okay, I can understand there's context of where that could be bad, but the problem is it should be a bad word in every context if it's going to get demonetized. We've been, like, YouTube is kind of changing the way we think about these words, and seeing like a demonetized word like feet. Like the word feet, there's nothing wrong with the word feet. It's not a bad word in any way, but then you might think, oh yeah, but there are like fetish videos of feet on YouTube and they don't want that stuff. I mean, yeah, there's no reason. I mean, what quality content on YouTube revolves around having feet in the title? It's kind of a funny thing. But, alright, feet is demonetized. But what I was saying is, like, we've been so, like, sensitized into justifying why any word could be demonetized. Like, I remember telling my friend that the word adolescent was demonetized, and they're like, oh yeah, I could see how that could be bad because maybe there's content where there's adolescence or like mature content and stuff like that. And it's like, you're getting forced into a bad mindset here because okay, fellates. Because why should we be walking on eggshells with all these words here? As far as like non-monetized channels getting hit for doing things that monetized channels would get demonetized for, it's kind of hard to say, because like getting demonetized will get your video sometimes suppressed, and so maybe you'll think like, oh, I'm not even monetized, so how will I ever know? Like being monetized will show you, it'll give you this yellow icon, and you know, it'll give you the heads up like, hey, this video is demonetized, so it's probably not going to do super well. So if you're not monetized, I think that you still will get just as suppressed. Because, so the way YouTube puts it is they're like, the algorithm that goes into demonetizing a video has nothing to do with the algorithm that suppresses a video for being mature content. But the two separate algorithms are working in the same way still. So just because it's not saying, oh, it's demonetized because it's yellow, it's saying, oh, it's demonetized because it's mature, and it's being suppressed because it's also mature. So, I mean, they're both going off the same thing. So being demonetized will just tell you that it's going to be suppressed. In which we got the words female and feminist are demonetized. You know, I'm pretty sure female and feminist were both demonetized in the past. Oh, but not feminazi, because, you know, Google just doesn't know what that word is. But yet, one issue I run into is like, I'll test these words and they just change all the time. So like, I'll test female right now and it comes up yellow. And then I'll test it another day and it'll come up green. So then I'll change it to green. And that's why I put asterisks next to all those words. And then I'll test it again another day and then it's yellow again. So alright, this is why I have to constantly keep updating this list. Alright, getting through some more words here. There's nothing on page 12. Any opinions on YouTube shenanigans? It's a pretty vague question. I mean, YouTube does some weird and shady things from time to time. I think we can all agree that we wish they were a little bit more transparent. Do you speak any other languages? Not really. I mean, I can recognize bits of like Spanish and German, but I'm nowhere near fluent. I don't know how the YouTube demonetization bot works in other languages, because if we were to use like a Spanish word on, like, let's say I just put a Spanish expletive in one of my titles, like the bot might not even pick that up. But would it pick it up for these channels that are all Spanish? That's something I don't know. Alright, let's see if we got any more demonetized words. Flesh flute is green. See, I mean, I can understand people like looking at my list and thinking, what, that's so stupid, why isn't that monetized, or why is that monetized, and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't blame you, some of these results are really ridiculous and they don't make any sense. But I'm just marking down what my test results come up with. So I just do the tests and mark what they say. Floppy and floral. Alright, we got two more on the yellow list. Floppy is a bad word. Floppy and floral. You are the weakest link. Demonetized. And flowers. Alright. Something, YouTube apparently just really doesn't like flowers right now. Just change them to numbers so that they'll go back to being green, so then they're ready for the next batch of testing. Like, yeah, disgusting floral arrangements. Something, so like, sometimes I'll forget to go back and change these to green after I'm done. And then like the next time I'm going through a batch of testing, I'll just, you know, test right over the top of it. The problem is, I've noticed that, like, let's say that page 1, the first video on the list was demonetized the last batch, and then I go through and I test over it again, and then I come back and that first video is still demonetized. So it gets confusing because it's like, is it yellow because this new word is also demonetized? I mean, that's a pretty rare coincidence. Or is it yellow because it just refused to update, which happens quite a lot. So I need to make sure that they are updating before I test over them again. And so that's why I change them back to green, because if I'm going to test a green word, it has to be on a video that's already green. Because yeah, I also think it's much more likely to freeze out and stay green, or like stay yellow, than it is to stay green. Like, it's much more likely that a video will stay yellow with a harmless word than it is for a video to stay green with like a swear word in it. So like if I changed a green word to the F word, there's like a 99% chance it would go yellow. But if I changed a yellow video into some harmless green word, then, you know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's kind of lazy about that. Now we got focal and focused. Those are the next new words on the list. Focal and focused. Okay, I'll change those to numbers. Save both of them. Go on to the next page. There's a channel called DC Foot Doctor who has a good reason to have the word feet in the title or description. Well, he's gonna get demonetized for talking about feet. But, I mean, this is why they have the manual review thing, though. Because, like, you know, maybe there are certain contexts where it's okay. So, like, you can just request review. I mean, I'll never request reviews on the testing. That would just cause a lot of issues. Followed is now yellow. I guess what, stalker videos? Foot job. Yeah, we got another yellow. This one makes a little bit more sense. Followed. Foot job. Yeah, you know, when you're working with just a list of words, just arbitrary words in alphabetical order, you get a lot of odd conversation starters. Just things that you wouldn't normally talk about because you're just looking at these words. We're almost through this. Okay, forced. Forced. Alright, I think that's the last one on this thing. Oh no. My Google Drive keeps disconnecting. This is such an annoying issue I run into while working on this all the time. It's just, I lose connection so much. I don't know why. It wasn't like this in the old days. And then for a while I thought that it was disconnecting like this because there were just so many people viewing it. But even right now there's only 22 people looking at the list. So I don't see why it should be lagging and disconnecting. But that is the end. Well, technically that's almost the end. Because now that I've gone through and found all these new words and I go back to 4800. Let's see if I can actually get the thing to load. Okay, so I'm still kind of disconnecting here. Oh, hey, did you guys notice there's a cat on my lap? Hi. So now I go on to the main spreadsheet, if it will load for me. Come on. Which, by the way, anyone who uses the word list, I hope you just have it bookmarked right here. That's how I always get to it. Yeah, 4chan is yellow. Well, if this thing, if this ever decides to load, it would be nice to get to update this list. See if I can just go over here. Okay, so this isn't going to load a new page, but I've got one open. So the first word I'm looking for is explicit. You can really see how established this whole list is with how many asterisks there are. Explicit. Yeah, looks like this is... Yeah, explicit has been yellow in the past, so that's not surprising. In fact, let's just go full screen. Okay, the next word is extraction and as. Extraction is yellow again. Looks like it was in the past. And as is a new yellow. Ooh, brand new. New contestant. A channel with spaces or no spaces. I don't really think there's a difference. I probably would put the space there because it makes it easier to search for, I guess. But as far as like anything else, I don't think there's any issues you'd run into. Extraction and as. Alright, facial. Facial is yellow, so we'll do that. Okay, next word, feet. We don't want feet on YouTube, guys. Feet. This is the 4th time that this result has changed. Meaning I've tested this word at least 5 times now. Filate and female. Filate is now yellow. Female is back to yellow. And what was feminist? That was yeah, feminist. So feminism is still okay after changing it 5 times. Feminist is back to yellow after testing it 6 times. Okay, feminist. Next word, floppy, floral, and flowers. Make a video call it floppy floral flowers, and you will get triple demonetized. All those new yellows. Focal, focused, and followed. Focal used to be yellow. Focused isn't. Oh, and now I'm disconnected again. Alright, what's the chat talking about now? YouTube analyzed or YouTube space analyzed. Like I said, it's probably better to have the space because then it's easier to search for. You're less likely to have... Because, I mean, if people are searching for the channel, they're going to put a space in the search. So it's probably better to put the space in the title if that's an option. I don't know why there wouldn't be an option. Okay, focused. And what was the third? Follows. Or no, it was followed. Yeah, see, there's a difference. This is one thing that really bothers me when I test it. Because when one changes but the other don't, I'm like, did I mess up something? Bundle, of course. So there's followed, foot job, and forced. Okay, foot job and forced. Okay, so the bot is still learning. Forced, and now there's to the bottom. So now it's time to just add these new words to the bottom of the confirmed list. And then, alright, back up to 4,800. So explicit. I really wish I could just have 2 of these tabs open. Facial. I kind of wonder, any of you guys that ever look at the list, have you ever been looking at the list and then just noticed like me editing it? Because like you can see me editing in real time or seeing what I'm selecting and changing. You'd have to be conveniently looking at it exactly the same time and spot that I was working on it. But I think that'd be kind of funny. Alright, so then I just sort these by alphabetical. Sort range A to Z. And that is that. That is one full batch complete. Looks like the stream went on for 1 hour and 11 minutes. And now I'm down to 5,400. I might do a couple more batches later today, but I was just going to stream that one batch. Oh, well, that seemed to go just fine. We got a decent amount of people stopping by to see what the list is all about. What made you create this document? Because I was uploading a lot of videos and I was getting demonetized for really silly things. Like, I had a video that was like something about a guy gets kicked out of a restaurant and it was getting demonetized, and I was like, what is going on? And then I was like trying, like, removing words and seeing what would change it, and it turns out that the word restaurant was getting me demonetized. And I was like, what in the world? Why am I getting demonetized for having the word restaurant in my title? And then another time I tried calling a video, it was like, stepmom tries to ruin my relationship, but then that was demonetized, so I changed it to stepmom sabotages my relationship. And so I found out that the word ruined, or ruins, or ruin, or whatever, was causing me to get demonetized. So I'm like, there's probably a lot of stupid little words just hidden here and there that will get people demonetized. And the only way to figure them all out is to just create a full list of all of the words, you know, all of the words in English. And so the first thing I did is I went on to like Oxford Dictionary, just pulled the most commonly used words. There were like 3,000 of them. And then I pulled like the most used terms in Urban Dictionary, which is where you get a lot of these like kind of ridiculous words and swear words and sexual terms and stuff. And then CeeLo pulled another like 7,000 or 8,000 from some like search term document, something like that. So we started with 15,000 something terms, and we just tested it. It took like a few weeks to test them all, and then we actually had this document done for a long time before we released it, because we were waiting for Nerd City to finish his video on it. And once he was finally ready, I mean, he kept postponing it, and I was like, are we ever going to release this thing? And then finally one day he's like, all right, I'm done posting my video now. I'm like, oh, okay, start spreading the link around. I put up my video, CeeLo put up his video, Nerd City had his video up, the list went up. I mean, there were news articles about it. There's like, even Philip DeFranco talked about it for a little while. I mean, it kind of like spread all around the internet for like a couple weeks, which was a pretty fun time. I started a Patreon for anyone who wanted to support the project, and I got quite a few people helping out. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. I hope this is going to like put like what do you call it, the VOD for this video once it's done. But I'm about done with the live stream now, so anything else you want to know, speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't know, maybe I'll do another live stream sometime, just whenever I'm working on this thing. Get a little bit more social interactions. Thoughts on the P-score? The P-score was kind of a weird thing. Like, we figured that out. Yeah, our little group figured that out, and I went around and was looking at the P-score of all these different channels. And it's really hard to tell what exactly makes a P-score higher or lower. Because, yeah, you had these like talk shows that had like over 1,000 P-score. That was like top tier. Like the highest you could get was like just over 1,000. Mine was like around 650, my P-score, on my Imagine If the Internet Was Real. P-score is just like how YouTube like ranks everyone's channels. I don't really know what it means. It's like maybe ad priority, like who gets more ads or something. Like a lot of big channels I looked at, I remember were around like the 700, 800, 900 range. Mine was around in the 600s. And then I had another channel that I like never uploaded onto. It was like 150. And so yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing. I don't know why YouTube loves hiding these things, especially like the video ratings, because I went around and looked at the rating of a lot of my videos too, and almost all of them were like PG or teen. So yeah, YouTube has a lot of secrets. But yeah, how long will I do this? I don't know. I mean, even if I stop being that active on this, the list will still be up forever. I mean, the longer time goes on without me updating it, probably the more inaccurate it might get. But at the same time, sometimes it's better when I don't update it too much. Because like I said, sometimes I'll just get weird results that shouldn't be the way they are. So I'll go onto these yellows and I'll just test every single yellow. And then I'll randomly have like bad words that will just show up green one day. And I'm just like, why are these showing up green? You know, like very blatantly bad words that shouldn't ever be in titles. And I'm like, why are these showing up green? I really don't want to mark it on the list as being green because I don't want to give people the idea that it's okay to use this word. Because even if it is green, it's probably only going to be green for a short amount of time. So it's like, do I even want to record this on the list? Because it's going to snap back to yellow very soon anyway. Do I have another YouTube channel? None that are very active right now. I have like 6 or 7 channels actually. So like, I've got a Guitar Hero channel that I haven't uploaded in a long time. I've got a job shadowing channel, which I thought would be an awesome idea, but it turned out to not be that exciting. Then I've got this testing channel, which used to be something else, but I got it monetized, and then I deleted all the other videos, and now I just use it to do this word testing. Then I've got Imagine If the Internet Was Real, which was my main channel for all of 2019, where I would just read Reddit stories. And that was pretty much my full-time job last year. And then I branched out and made YouTube Analyzed, which is basically just talking about weird stuff on how YouTube works, and mostly just this demonetization thing. And then I have one channel that, it's not really a channel, it's just like I upload personal videos to send to friends or something. You know, just like recording me and my friends doing something just to share with. It's got videos from like 12 years ago. That's my oldest channel. And then I got another channel that I tried. It was like a compilation channel that I didn't tell anyone about. It was like a compilation attempted cash grab channel, but it never really went anywhere. But it's still there. So those are my 7 channels. Anyways, I've never realized how difficult it can be to just talk for an hour 20 straight. I'm not used to it. It gives me more appreciation for streamers. But I'm going to call it good there. So keep an eye out. Maybe I'll do another live stream again in the future. Hopefully you found some insight from all this testing. Hopefully this stays up as a VOD so other people can come in and see what I do. And yeah, so long.